This is the haunting tale of a series of chilling serial killings that added another sinister name to India's roster of notorious criminals. It began in 2008, a mystery that would stretch over a decade, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and gruesome discoveries from 2008 to 2018. The story unfolded like a dark, twisted puzzle. Bodies began turning up in eerie locations, near highways, in dense hilly terrains, or alongside quiet rivers in Satara and Nashik, Maharashtra, India. At first, these isolated cases barely raised an eyebrow. A body here, another hundreds of miles away, sometimes in entirely different states. Police found themselves at a loss, unable to draw any connections. The first two bodies surfaced in Maharashtra, followed by one in Jharkhand, then Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh. Over the years, more victims were discovered, many of them nameless, their identities forever lost. The authorities meticulously logged each case, conducted autopsies, and performed cremations. But the evidence refused to align, leaving investigators in a state of perpetual frustration. By 2018, the killings took a more sinister turn. Another body was discovered near Bhopal, but this time, a chilling pattern began to emerge. Almost all the victims had been found unclothed. There were no visible wounds, no overt signs of struggle. In some cases, strangulation was determined as the cause of death. In others, traces of poison were detected. Yet in many instances, the exact cause of death remained an enigma. But the Bhopal case offered something the others hadn't: a clue. Nearby, a suspicious man lingered, his demeanor enough to catch the attention of the authorities. When questioned, the man, a truck driver, crumbled under pressure, confessing to the murder. For the first time in years, the police had a lead. His confession hinted at something even darker. These murders were not random. He was part of a larger, organized operation. The investigation gained momentum. As police rounded up more suspects, a chilling revelation came to light. This wasn't the work of a lone killer. The murders were linked to a gang, primarily involved in truck robberies, who eliminated their victims without remorse. Among the suspects, one name surfaced repeatedly: Adesh Khama. Adesh, the alleged ringleader, was far from the stereotypical criminal mastermind. He lived a double life in Bhopal, running a modest tailoring shop while maintaining a facade of normalcy. His family, comprising a government-employed son, a daughter, and his unsuspecting wife, professed ignorance of his crimes. To his neighbors, he was a cheerful, friendly man. But when news of his associates' arrests reached him, Adesh vanished, seeking refuge in the dense forests near Sultanpur. The hunt for Adesh Khama turned into a dramatic chase. In late 2018, acting on a tip, a determined police team, led by a fearless female officer, combed the wilderness in search of their elusive suspect. After an exhaustive operation, they finally captured him, bringing him back to Bhopal for interrogation. What began as a scattershot investigation into isolated deaths unraveled into the horrifying truth: a sprawling web of calculated killings orchestrated by a ruthless gang. The sheer scale of the operation left even the most seasoned officers stunned, revealing a chilling saga of betrayal, greed, and bloodshed that shook the nation to its core. They had no idea they were about to crack the biggest case of their careers. When the police apprehended 48-year-old Adesh Khama, they expected a small-time criminal, maybe a petty thief. Instead, they found themselves face to face with a man whose calm and quiet demeanor concealed one of the darkest minds they had ever encountered. Adesh didn't look like a monster, but as he sat in the interrogation room, his chilling confession began to unravel a decade-long spree of murder and chaos. His accomplices had initially hinted at 3 or 4 killings, but Adesh smirked as he started counting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, until the total reached 30. The horror didn't stop there. He remembered every gruesome detail, the victims' names, the dates, the places, even what he ate before each murder. He recalled with eerie precision how he killed each one, whether by poison, slipped into their food or drinks, or by strangulation. He described their clothes, the locations where their bodies were dumped, and even the expressions on their faces in their final moments. As the police listened in stunned silence, Adesh calmly added 3 more murders the next day, bringing the total to 33. Each confession sent shockwaves through the investigation, and when his accounts were cross-checked, they matched chillingly with the evidence. Bodies were indeed found in the locations he described. By the time investigators confirmed his claims, the death toll had climbed to 34. For the officers involved, this was no longer just a criminal case. It was a descent into the mind of a remorseless killer. Adesh's backstory painted a picture of a man whose life was a cauldron of rage and violence. He lived in Bhopal with his wife, 5 children, and father, though his relationship with his father was fraught with conflict. In 2005, a bitter dispute drove him to leave his family behind and move to Maharashtra. By 2008, he had committed his first murder, a truck driver, and discovered the deadly path he was destined to follow. The motive? Robbery. But Adesh's criminal journey had started earlier. In 2007, he was jailed for attacking a thug who refused to pay for tailoring services. It was in prison that he met highway robbers and found his calling. Upon his release, he joined their gang, embarking on a spree of contract killings and robberies that would soon escalate into something far darker. In 2009, Adesh killed 2 more truck drivers near Pune, and his methods became more ruthless. In one instance, driven by rage, he crushed 2 victims under a truck's wheels because one of the bodies got stuck in the vehicle's gear mechanism. Over the next 6 years, his gang claimed the lives of at least 10 more truck drivers and their assistants, but Adesh's greed and cunning soon outgrew his gang. Arrested 4 times between 2010 and 2014, he spent nearly 5 years in jail but was never convicted due to insufficient evidence. Realizing that operating in a large group meant smaller profits and greater risks, Adesh decided to go solo. He kept just 1 trusted accomplice and launched a reign of terror that paralyzed highways across India. Adesh's cold efficiency and calculated methods turned him into a phantom on the roads, leaving a trail of bodies and unanswered questions. Even now, as the investigation digs deeper, the full extent of his crimes remains a chilling mystery. The man who appeared so ordinary on the surface has revealed himself to be one of the most calculated serial killers the country has ever known. They preyed on unsuspecting truck drivers returning home after long, grueling journeys. These trips were perfect targets. Returning trucks often carried little profit, and drivers frequently resorted to secret cargo runs for extra cash. Adesh Khama and his gang knew this all too well and used it to their ruthless advantage. With carefully crafted lies and fake urgency, Khama and his accomplices charmed their way into the cabs of these trucks. Posing as travelers in need, they gained the driver's trust with ease. spinning tales of family emergencies or distant destinations. Once aboard, they offered their hosts drug-laced sweets under the guise of hospitality, poison disguised as kindness. The murders spread across Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, and Uttar Pradesh, painting a bloody map of terror between 2014 and 2018. In those 4 years, Khama claimed at least 23 lives while managing to evade capture. Among his crimes was a chilling contract, killing in 2017, further cementing his reputation as a master of deception and escape. But Khama's streak of luck ended in September 2018. That year alone, he and his gang were responsible for at least 12 murders. Early in the year, Khama crossed paths with 30-year-old Jaikaran Prajapati at a roadside eatery in Bhopal. Prajapati, a small-time criminal hungry for more power and wealth, joined forces with Khama. Together they unleashed a wave of terror, killing 12 truck drivers and cleaners in just 9 months. However, their partnership was doomed from the start. Prajapati's greed grew unchecked, and he began plotting behind Khama's back. On August 13th, 2018, Prajapati and his newly formed gang looted a truck carrying iron rods, killing the driver and cleaner. Carelessly, they left the bodies where they could be discovered, drawing the attention of law enforcement. Prajapati's capture on September 4th, 2018, was the first domino to fall. During his interrogation, he revealed Khama's location, leading to Khama's arrest just 3 days later. Even in custody, Khama was a force to be reckoned with. Investigators described him as manipulative and cunning, using every conversation as an opportunity to twist the narrative in his favor. When pressed about the murders, he spoke with chilling nonchalance, recounting his crimes in unnerving detail. He showed no remorse, only annoyance at being betrayed by Prajapati. "I'm no ordinary criminal," he boasted, demanding respect from his interrogators. Khama's dual life left everyone in shock. By day, he was a skilled tailor in Bhopal, stitching fine garments for his customers. By night, he transformed into a cold-blooded killer, prowling highways for his next victim. The truth behind his motives, however, was far more disturbing than simple robbery. While Khama admitted his gang often sold stolen cargo, he insisted that financial gain wasn't his primary reason for killing. All 34 of his victims, truck drivers and their assistants, were chosen deliberately. To Khama, their hard lives made them expendable. According to Prajapati, Khama once laughed and claimed he was doing the drivers a favor, liberating them from their struggles. The sheer precision of Khama's crimes left investigators reeling. He and his gang operated like predators, waiting at highway stops or posing as harmless hitchhikers to lure their prey. Sometimes they befriended their victims at roadside eateries, blending into the everyday chaos of the highway. Khama's cold, calculated approach shocked the police and public alike, exposing a man whose darkness was masked by an ordinary life. His capture brought an end to his reign of terror, but the horrifying stories he left behind will haunt the highways forever. The highways became hunting grounds, and truck drivers returning home after grueling delivery runs were the perfect prey. These return trips were seldom profitable, pushing many drivers to accept under-the-table deals to transport goods for quick cash. For Adesh Khama and his gang, this vulnerability was an open invitation to unleash terror. Khama and his accomplices were master manipulators, spinning tales of urgency, family emergencies, desperate pleas to reach home, to gain access to the trucks. Once inside, their charm turned sinister. They befriended the drivers and their assistants, offering drug-laced sweets disguised as tokens of goodwill. What followed was a chilling spree of calculated murders. Most of the killings unfolded across Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, with additional bloodshed in Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh. Between 2014 and 2018, Khama orchestrated the deaths of 23 truck drivers and their assistants, slipping through the cracks of law enforcement time and again. Among these was a contract killing in 2017, which cemented his reputation as a phantom of the highways. But even the most elusive criminal's luck runs out. By September 2018, Khama's killing spree had claimed 12 more lives in just 9 months. His partnership with 30-year-old Jaikaran Prajapati, a petty criminal drawn to Khama by promises of wealth, escalated the carnage. Together they roamed the highways, leaving a trail of blood and shattered lives. Yet betrayal brewed beneath their alliance. Prajapati's greed and ambition led him to secretly form his own gang, aligning with local criminals. This rift set the stage for Khama's downfall. On August 13th, 2018, Prajapati's gang looted a truck carrying iron rods, killing the driver and his assistant. Carelessly, they dumped the bodies in a manner that ensured discovery. The police quickly pieced together the evidence, and Prajapati was arrested on September 4th. During his interrogation, he spilled secrets about Khama's whereabouts, setting the trap that would finally ensnare the elusive killer. Khama was apprehended on September 7th, and the man police described as cunning and calculating faced his reckoning. Even in custody, he played mind games, engaging investigators in long-winded conversations designed to throw them off balance. As his list of confessions grew longer, officers struggled to keep count of the lives he had claimed. Remarkably, Khama showed no remorse. Instead, he demanded respect, arrogantly declaring himself no ordinary criminal. According to Additional Superintendent of Police Kaushal, Khama's only regret was the betrayal by Prajapati that led to his capture. The question loomed large. Why did he kill? By day, Khama was a skilled tailor in Bhopal, known for crafting fine garments and living a seemingly quiet life. By night, he transformed into a predator, prowling highways for victims. This shocking duality, a tailor with a killer's soul, left the community in disbelief. During questioning, Khama revealed a chilling pattern. All 34 of his victims were truck drivers or their assistants. Initially, investigators believed the motive was robbery, seizing trucks and their cargo by eliminating the drivers. But Khama dismissed this theory. While his gang often sold stolen goods, Khama insisted that profit wasn't his driving force. His real motive was far darker, rooted in a twisted philosophy. According to reports, Khama claimed that truck drivers lived hard, thankless lives, and by killing them, he was liberating them from their suffering. His meticulous methods only deepened the horror. Khama and his gang lurked at highway stops, posed as hitchhikers, or struck up casual conversations at roadside eateries to disarm their targets. Every move was calculated, every action deliberate. The sheer precision of Khama's crimes left the police and the public reeling. His capture may have ended his reign of terror, but the haunting details of his murderous spree continue to cast a dark shadow over the highways.